What if the very meal you've trusted for decades, the one that begins your morning, the one tied to comfort and routine, was quietly stealing your strength, your memory, and your vitality? Imagine waking each day believing you are fueling your body with health, only to discover those familiar foods may be accelerating aging from the inside out. For millions of seniors, this is not imagination. It's reality. This isn't about donuts or fast food. The danger is far more subtle, hidden in meals marketed as heart-healthy or light. Foods we've been told to trust, foods that whisper reassurance through colorful labels and comforting traditions, may in fact be spiking our blood sugar, stirring silent inflammation, and eroding the very independence we fight to keep as we grow older. Science tells us that after 60, the body is no longer as forgiving. What a teenager could shrug off in a day, the senior's body struggles to repair over weeks or months. It's as though the body's cellular repair team works slower, more carefully, patching up damage while fighting the relentless tide of time. And breakfast, the very first signal we send to this team, can either help or hinder their mission. Consider this. A study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that seniors who ate high glycemic breakfasts experienced nearly 50% more inflammation for hours afterward. Half of your day spent with your cells quietly battling fires you never even see. That fatigue you chalk up to just getting older? The fog that blurs your memory by mid-morning? It may not be aging at all. It may be what you ate at sunrise. And yet, here is the paradox. The foods that cause this damage are the ones we feel safest with. The oatmeal packet, the yogurt cup, the slice of toast with jam. Rituals we inherited, routines we cling to. Why? Because psychology tells us humans crave stability. When life becomes uncertain, we reach for the familiar. The breakfast table is more than nourishment. It is memory. It is comfort. But comfort can be deceiving. Every morning, the choices you make write a story in your bloodstream, in your muscles, in your brain. Breakfast is not just a meal. It is a message. A signal that tells your body, "Today you will heal and grow stronger," or "Today you will drift further from the health you long to keep." And here lies the good news. The damage is not destiny. With just a few small shifts, you can begin to reverse years of quiet harm. Your brain can regain clarity. Your muscles can regain strength. Your mornings can once again bring energy, not exhaustion. In the next moments, we'll uncover 4 common breakfast foods that rob seniors of vitality, and 4 powerful alternatives that rebuild, restore, and protect. By the end, you may never look at your breakfast table the same way again. Now, let's begin with a food almost every senior has reached for at some point: instant oatmeal. It's warm, it's quick, it's comforting. The box says whole grain and good for cholesterol. It feels safe, even virtuous. But the truth is, these little packets can betray you in ways you never imagined. Most instant oats are stripped down and highly processed, engineered for speed. And when food digests too quickly, your blood sugar responds with the same urgency, spiking sky high, then crashing down. Add to that the sugar hidden in most flavored packets, 18 grams or more per serving, often with maltodextrin, which slams your insulin even faster than table sugar. And suddenly your safe breakfast feels less like nourishment and more like a biochemical ambush. Think of your body like a campfire. The right fuel, logs of oak and maple, burns slow and steady, warming you for hours. But instant oats? They're like crumpled newspaper. They flare up hot but vanish fast, leaving only ashes and smoke. That crash you feel an hour after eating, shaky, tired, irritable, that's not aging. That's your body screaming for steady fuel. The science is sobering. According to the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, seniors who consumed high glycemic breakfasts like instant oatmeal showed 47% more inflammation in the hours that followed. That's not a blip. It's half your day spent in a hidden firestorm. Chronic inflammation like this doesn't just cause fatigue. It chips away at memory, weakens muscle, and primes the body for insulin resistance. Over time, that's the fast lane to frailty. But here is the paradox. Oatmeal itself isn't the enemy. It's how it's been twisted by convenience culture. If you love oats, there is redemption. Steel-cut oats, soaked overnight, cooked slowly, eaten with intention. When prepared this way, oats digest gently, releasing energy like a steady stream rather than a flash flood. Add a sprinkle of cinnamon, a natural blood sugar stabilizer, or a handful of berries for antioxidants, and you transform your bowl from betrayer into protector. And beyond the science, there's a deeper lesson here. In our rush to save time, we've sacrificed the wisdom of patience. Breakfast is the first ritual of the day. What does it say about us if the ritual is rushed, processed, artificial? When you slow down to soak, to simmer, to prepare with care, you're not just feeding your body, you're reminding yourself that your health deserves time. And after 60, time is the most precious ingredient of all. Now, let's turn to another food that wears a mask of health: flavored yogurt. It arrives in small cups, adorned with pictures of fruit, branded with promises of probiotics, calcium, and lightness. To the eye, it seems harmless, even beneficial. But peel back the lid, and you may be holding more sugar than a candy bar. One small serving can pack 20 grams or more of added sugar, 5 heaping teaspoons before your day has even begun. And that's before you factor in the artificial sweeteners, dyes, and thickeners that give it the illusion of flavor and texture. What you're eating isn't fruit. It's chemistry, cleverly disguised. The consequences run deeper than just empty calories. Excess sugar feeds inflammation, the quiet saboteur of aging. It destabilizes blood sugar, leaving you hungry within hours, and it disrupts the delicate balance of your gut microbiome. And here lies one of the great overlooked truths of health in later life. Your gut is not just a digestive system, it is an immune fortress. It trains your body to fight infection, it shapes your mood, it even influences your memory. Research in the Journal of Gerontology revealed that older adults consuming high-sugar dairy had a 34% surge in inflammatory markers within 2 hours of eating. That means, before you've even left the breakfast table, your body is already fighting battles it didn't need to face. Over weeks and months, that constant low-grade war chips away at your muscles, your immunity, and your clarity of thought. But why do so many fall for it? Psychologists call it the health halo effect. When a food is labeled low-fat, light, or packed with probiotics, we give ourselves permission to eat more of it, blind to the sugar beneath the shine. It's candy dressed up as care. And for seniors, who often seek simple, easy-to-digest foods, this deception is especially dangerous. There is, however, a path forward, one rooted in simplicity. If you enjoy yogurt, make it plain Greek yogurt. No added sugar, but rich in protein and probiotics that genuinely support digestion and strength. Add your own fruit, a sprinkle of cinnamon, maybe a drizzle of raw honey if you want sweetness. In this way, you control the narrative, rather than letting a food company write it for you. And here's the philosophical truth. Health is rarely about avoidance. It's about awareness. Flavored yogurt teaches us a powerful lesson. Just because something is easy, packaged, and promised as healthy does not mean it serves your body. In a world filled with marketing noise, discernment becomes one of the greatest forms of self-care. Choosing plain yogurt and flavoring it yourself may seem like a small act, but in reality, it is a declaration of independence. For many of us, nothing feels more American, more familiar, than pouring a bowl of cereal and splashing on some milk. It's quick, it's simple, it's the very image of childhood. And yet, this innocent ritual may be one of the greatest deceptions in modern nutrition. To understand why, we need to step back in time. In the late 1800s, cereal was born not as a sweetened snack, but as a health movement. Dr. John Harvey Kellogg, yes, that Kellogg, believed bland, grain-based foods could calm the stomach and purify the mind. Cereal was medicine, or so it was claimed. But as decades passed, business took over. Sugar was added. Marketing campaigns painted cereal as part of a complete breakfast, and generations were taught to equate cartoon mascots and toy prizes with nourishment. What began as a health crusade quietly transformed into one of the most refined, sugar-heavy breakfasts imaginable. Today, even the so-called healthy cereals, those labeled multigrain, high-fiber, or heart-healthy, are often nothing more than refined starch. The grains have been stripped, ground, and extruded into shapes that digest with the speed of candy. Your bloodstream cannot tell the difference. Eating a bowl of cereal is, biologically speaking, no different from starting your day with cookies, and the consequences are not small. Studies in the British Medical Journal found that seniors who regularly consumed processed cereals had a 21% higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes. Another long-term study showed that people over 60 who ate cereal daily carried a 36% higher risk of belly fat accumulation. The visceral fat that drives inflammation, disrupts hormones, and accelerates aging. But here's the subtle danger. Cereal is soft, easy, effortless. For seniors with dental issues, it seems gentle. But what feels like kindness now can become cruelty later. Easy-to-chew foods are often the hardest on your body. They deprive muscles of protein, flood your blood with sugar, and rob your mornings of sustained energy. Think of cereal like a mirage in the desert. From afar, it promises refreshment. But when you reach for it, it leaves you thirstier, weaker, and more vulnerable than before. So what's the alternative? Simplicity again. Eggs, yogurt with berries, chia pudding, or even leftovers from dinner. These offer protein, fiber, and slow-digesting fuel that steady your blood sugar and feed your muscles. They may not come with jingles or cartoon mascots, but they deliver something far more important: real strength. And perhaps this is the deeper truth. Tradition, while comforting, must always be tested against reality. Just because we grew up with it does not mean it should follow us into the years when health is most fragile. Nostalgia cannot protect your body. Only nourishment can. Now we come to perhaps the most deceptive of them all. A breakfast so simple, so classic, that it's been served in kitchens, hospitals, and nursing homes for generations, white toast with margarine and jam. It looks harmless, even wholesome. But beneath that innocent facade lies a triple assault on your health. Let's break it down. First, the white bread. Stripped of fiber and nutrients, it is little more than refined starch. The moment it enters your mouth, enzymes begin converting it into glucose, and within minutes, your blood sugar soars. It's the metabolic equivalent of drinking soda on an empty stomach. Your body burns hot, then crashes. Next comes margarine. For decades, margarine was marketed as the heart-healthy alternative to butter. But what most people didn't realize was that margarine was built on industrial seed oils, soybean, canola, corn, often hydrogenated into trans fats. These oils are not nourishment. They are corrosive agents. They generate oxidative stress, damage cell membranes, and drive chronic inflammation. It's like pouring rust into the delicate machinery of your body. Finally, the jam. Concentrated sugar with no fiber or protein to slow it down, jam transforms your toast into little more than a dessert disguised as breakfast. Sweet, yes. Comforting, yes. But also destructive, fueling insulin spikes that chip away at muscle strength, immune function, and cognitive clarity. The science paints a grim picture. One study found that seniors who regularly consumed refined breads paired with trans fats were nearly 50% more likely to experience measurable cognitive decline over 5 years. Another revealed that such meals caused a 34% drop in insulin sensitivity, your body's ability to process sugar efficiently, just from a single morning's choice. Multiply that by decades, and you see how something so ordinary can quietly erode the foundation of health. But here's the haunting part. This meal is everywhere. Served in nursing homes where the most vulnerable rely on caregivers to nourish them. Served in hospitals where healing should begin. Served in homes where routine overrides reflection. Why? Because it is cheap. Because it is easy. Because it is tradition. Yet, tradition is not always truth. A warm slice of toast may comfort the heart, but it betrays the body. And if breakfast is the message we send to ourselves each morning, what message does this meal deliver? Today, we choose convenience over care. Today, we choose the illusion of food over its reality. But you deserve better. Aging with strength and clarity demands more than empty starch and processed oil. It demands food that nourishes, protects, and restores. And the good news is this. Just as poor choices accumulate harm, wise choices accumulate healing. In the same way a river carves valleys through persistence, so too can your daily choices carve out a future of resilience. This is why the story must now shift from danger to hope. Because for every harmful breakfast that weakens the body, there is another that rebuilds it. For every slice of white toast, there is a seed, a fruit, a meal that delivers the opposite. Strength, clarity, renewal. And it begins with something so small, so unassuming, that you might overlook it entirely, until you see the quiet power it holds. From danger, we now turn to possibility. Imagine a seed so small it slips through your fingers, barely larger than a grain of sand, yet inside it carries the strength to transform your health, from the inside out. That seed is chia. At first glance, chia seeds don't look like much. But when soaked in liquid, they bloom into a pudding-like texture, soft and gentle, yet powerful beyond measure. In those tiny capsules lie 10 grams of fiber for every 2 tablespoons, fiber that slows digestion, stabilizes blood sugar, and keeps your energy steady for hours. No more crashes, no more fog. Just clean, enduring fuel. And then there are the omega-3 fatty acids, over 4 grams in that same small serving. These are the oils of life, the protectors of your brain, and the reducers of inflammation. Omega-3s have been shown to slow muscle loss by up to 30% in seniors, while sharpening memory and nourishing the cardiovascular system. They are, in every sense, the lubrication that keeps the gears of aging turning smoothly. One study in the Journal of Nutrition, Health, and Aging found that seniors with higher fiber intake improved insulin sensitivity by nearly 40%. Another demonstrated that omega-3s not only protected muscles, but helped preserve the very architecture of the brain. Think of them as tiny soldiers guarding your cells, restoring what time tries to take away. But chia is more than a science experiment. It is a metaphor for aging itself. When dry, the seeds seem lifeless, insignificant. But given the right conditions, water, time, patience, they expand, soften, and transform. In the same way, your later years are not defined by decline, but by the conditions you create. Nurture your body, and strength reemerges. Nourish your mind, and clarity returns. Preparing chia pudding is almost poetic in its simplicity. Mix 2 tablespoons of seeds with a half cup of almond or coconut milk. Stir, and let them rest overnight. In the morning, they have become something entirely new, gentle, rich, sustaining. Add blueberries, cinnamon, or a touch of vanilla, and you've crafted not just a meal, but a ritual. And that ritual matters. Because health is not built on dramatic acts or fleeting diets. It is built on consistency, the quiet repetition of small choices that echo over years. Chia pudding reminds us of that truth. Small, steady, patient. The kind of health that doesn't shout, but endures. As you take your first spoonful, remember, this is not just breakfast. This is resilience, disguised as something soft and humble, a reminder that power often comes in the smallest forms. Now let us turn to foods that do more than sustain you. They awaken you. Imagine beginning your morning not with a crash of sugar, but with a surge of oxygen, strength, and clarity. This is what beets and eggs can deliver when placed at the center of your plate. Let's start with beets. To some, they are earthy and unfamiliar, but within their deep crimson flesh lies a compound that science has come to celebrate: natural nitrates. Once inside your body, nitrates convert to nitric oxide, a gas that widens your blood vessels, enhancing circulation. For seniors, this is no small gift. Blood flow is life. It carries oxygen to your muscles, nutrients to your brain, energy to every corner of your being. The research is remarkable. In a study from the Journal of Gerontology, seniors who drank beet juice daily experienced a 19% faster walking speed and over 20% better muscle oxygenation during activity. Another study at Wake Forest University showed beet-rich breakfasts improved frontal lobe function, the seat of memory and decision-making, after just 4 days. Imagine that. In less than a week, clearer thoughts, steadier steps, renewed confidence. And then there are eggs, specifically pasture-raised eggs, one of nature's most complete foods. For years, they were vilified, blamed for cholesterol and heart disease. But modern science has reversed that verdict. Eggs are not a threat. They are a treasure. One large pasture-raised egg provides 6 grams of highly absorbable protein, vitamin D for bone strength, B12 for energy, selenium for immunity, and choline, a nutrient your brain craves to keep memory sharp. In fact, a study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that seniors consuming 25 grams of protein at breakfast retained nearly 45% more muscle mass over time compared to those who started the day with mostly carbohydrates. This is critical because after 60, muscle is not just strength, it is independence. It is the ability to rise from a chair, to carry groceries, to walk without fear of falling. Muscle is mobility, dignity, freedom. And eggs make that preservation possible. Unlike the fleeting energy of toast or cereal, their protein digests gently, fueling you for hours. Cooked in olive oil or grass-fed butter, scrambled softly, poached tenderly, they become not just a meal, but medicine. Picture this scene. A glass of ruby-red beet smoothie beside a plate of softly cooked, pasture-raised eggs. Blood vessels widening, oxygen flowing, muscles awakening, neurons firing. It is not indulgence, it is investment. Every sip, every bite, a deposit into the bank of longevity. And beyond the science lies the symbolism. Beets, with their vibrant red, echo the lifeblood of circulation itself. Eggs, with their golden yolks, represent renewal, birth, the dawn of each new day. Together, they are not just food, they are a reminder that even in the later chapters of life, strength and vitality can be reborn every morning. And now we arrive at the crown jewel, the food that may hold more power over memory, energy, and resilience than any other: wild blueberries. Not the oversized, watery ones in supermarket cartons, but the small, dark, nutrient-dense kind found in the wild or the freezer aisle, harvested at peak ripeness. These tiny berries are not just fruit. They are brain food, muscle fuel, and cellular protectors wrapped into one, packed with anthocyanins, potent plant compounds that fight oxidative stress. Wild blueberries act like shields for your neurons. In one groundbreaking study published in Nutrients, seniors who ate just 1 cup of wild blueberries daily for 90 days showed measurable improvements in memory and attention. Another study revealed a staggering 52% reduction in inflammatory markers, directly translating into better joint health, cardiovascular protection, and sharper cognitive function. Unlike many fruits, wild blueberries don't send your blood sugar surging. Instead, they provide steady energy, improved coordination, and even faster recovery after activity. In essence, they are a food that speaks fluently to the needs of the aging body: gentle, restorative, protective. And perhaps most importantly, they remind us of something profound. Breakfast is not simply the breaking of a fast. It is a ritual, a philosophy, a daily decision. Each morning, you stand at a crossroads. One path leads to quiet decline, the other to strength, clarity, and independence. Your first meal sets the tone, telling your body what kind of day and what kind of life you intend to live. And think of it this way: the foods you choose are not just calories. They are messengers. Instant oatmeal tells your body, prepare for a crash. White toast with margarine whispers, inflammation awaits. But chia pudding, beet smoothies, pasture-raised eggs, and wild blueberries? They say, rise, strengthen, protect, renew. Aging is not the loss of youth. It is the gaining of perspective. And perspective teaches us that health is not shaped by one grand act, but by thousands of quiet choices repeated over years. Breakfast is one of those choices, and it is within your control. So tomorrow morning, as you stand at your table, remember this: you hold the power to write the story of your day, and indeed, the story of your life. Choose wisely, and each morning becomes a small act of defiance against decline, a small victory for strength, clarity, and independence. It begins not with a pill, nor with a doctor's order, but with a simple plate of food. A bowl of chia pudding, a glass of beet smoothie, a couple of eggs, a handful of wild blueberries. These are not just meals, they are lifelines. They are proof that even in the later chapters of life, the story can still be written with vitality. And so I ask you, what message will your breakfast send tomorrow?